Watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Yes, why is my stream freezing like that, bro? Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Trap or Dive Podcast. I'm your host of the Trap or Dive Podcast, Mual. What's up, Benz? I don't like this. Take this off. Okay. Wait, actually, I do like that. My bad. It's StreamYard got some new features over here, and I'm trying this out for the first time. So, what's up, Benz? I see you. Welcome everybody else that's in the chat, watching live, listening live, all that good stuff. If you're on the YouTube side, man, make sure you hit that like button. Audio side, hit that follow button. Hit us with a rating and review. Subscribe to the podcast, man. That's the most important thing. AJ's in here. Dre is on the way. Let me get this one pulled up. And boom, there we go. I think we're all good to go. What's going on with you, AJ? How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm cooling, man. Just a little tired. I think maybe a little bit too many drinks over the weekend. I don't know. Old age creeping up on me or something.
Bruh, I drank all day Saturday, bro. All day Saturday, and then half day Sunday. And it didn't dawn on me that I drank all day Saturday until I started sipping this tequila pouch at the games on Sunday. I started at like noon, bro. And my last drink was at like 3 a.m.
On Sunday?
No. I started at noon Saturday. My last drink of the day was at 3 a.m. Sunday. Or whatever the last drink we had at that whatever the fuck that junk was.
Yeah, Lima.
At Lima, bro. That was my last drink. That was my last drink, man. You ain't old, bro. And probably gonna end up doing that again soon.
Yep, next week.
It is what it is, man. All right. So on the show today, we got a few things we're gonna talk about. I should have pulled it. Let me see if I can send it to the DM. That'd probably make more sense. We got a few things to talk about. There was a report when the schedule came out from ESPN. Not even a report, just an article. That's probably the best way to say it. I think it was Matt What is his name? Clay. Mike Clay. That's his name. Mike Clay put out an article right around the time the schedule dropped. So it kind of went under the radar, but definitely a good conversation to kind of see where he is with his projections. This is the analytical side of football and NFL. So we're going to kind of get an understanding of what things look like from that perspective. Why is this junk tripping like this? I don't even know if y'all can see what I see on y'all end, but
look regular to me.
Yeah, I'm about to say it must be my computer. It must be my computer, bro. Okay. All right. So what's going on, Drake? My bad. Let me check in with you.
Hey, it's all good, man. I'm just happy to be here. Had to finish up a little Mexican pizza before I got on.
What is a Mexican pizza entail?
You ever seen the Taco Bell Mexican pizza? It's a thing on the Taco Bell menu, but I make it myself because I don't want to go to Taco Bell.
Boy, I was about to say you over there eating Taco Bell, bro.
No, I'm making homemade stuff. You know, if I look at Taco Bell, like I can make that a lot better. So that's what I did tonight.
Over there, I'm about to say eat Taco Bell. You over there with the BGs for 10 days.
No, we get the natural ingredients.
so what you put? Ground beef, peppers, like what?
So what it is, AJ, you fry 2 flour tortillas.
Yeah.
And you fill it with ground beef, but I did ground beef with chorizo, cheese, sauce, refried beans, put cheese on top of it after you mash the 2 tortillas together with the meat filling inside. No diddy. A little bit of sour cream on top and boom, you got a Mexican pizza sauce. You know what I'm saying? It's all that good stuff.
Hey, Mual, he still might be making that trip to the bathroom, dog.
It's quite possible. I'm not gonna argue with that.
Like a whole bunch of different stuff together, like a wild ass concoction. Like,
yeah, how much cheese and sour cream and all that other? What you use?
How much? See, I don't go overboard. I don't like a lot of melted cheese.
You put on there.
First off, I wouldn't even care that. What Dre doing his private room, bro. That's all on him.
Oh.
I'm vegan.
All right, man. Look, you joined at the right time. We were just getting things started. And starting with ESPN's 2025 NFL projection guide. This is from Mike Clay. And this was made on the 15th of May. So literally 5 days ago, where he has projections for all 32 teams. He has positional projections. It's an 80-page document.
80 pages?
Yes, he has category leader projections. He has projected standings, playoff teams, strength of schedule, unit grade, all the 9 projected starters. And so let's kind of go through some of the rubrics, or I guess the criteria, so we can get an understanding before we get straight into the Commanders, right? The numbers that we'll be talking about are projections for the 2025 NFL regular season, weeks 1 through 18. It's a product of rounding. The totals you see are correct, but the stat rankings are projections to finish in the category that's shown. Let's see what else we need to know. Unit grades is not related to fantasy football. It is an attempt to objectively rank each team at 10 key positions. The overall grades are weighted based on positional importance. Scale is 10, meaning the best, and the worst is 1. I think that's kind of all we need to know. I don't see anything about any numbers base. Okay. All right, so let's kind of get into it. Let's go straight down to the Washington Commanders and see what they have for us. We're going to go to team projections, and Commanders are right here at the bottom, of course. All right, so we have, are these the leaders? Okay, here we go. Projected wins with the strength of schedule ranking at 22. Projected wins is at 8.7. That is 13th in the NFL. I asked about them numbers because I have no idea how the hell you get an 8.7. I don't know where that 0.7 comes from. But there's a 0.7, and that gets you into the playoffs. And we have some numbered projections here. I think this is actually a good point. Let me see if I can scroll down to the standings and maybe we can see where the standings would be. 59. All right, so let's go to 59 to see where we actually are ranked. 55, 57, 59. Okay, here we go. All right, so at 8.7, he has the Washington Commanders finishing second in the NFC East. And of course, second for Washington, meaning Philadelphia is first. They have a projected win total of 10.3. Good Lord. He has Washington scoring 443 points, but giving up 437 points, which is the worst in the NFL on his list. It's the worst. You ain't got to do the math. But basically the worst defense in the NFL. There's a difference of 6. So there's a 6-point point differential that he has projected. So Philly, number 1, Washington, number 2. The NFC playoffs is Detroit, ranked 1 seed, excuse me. Arizona, looking at it wrong. Tampa Bay is the 2 seed. Philadelphia is the 3 seed. The Rams are the 4 seed. Washington's a wild card. They play Philadelphia in the playoffs on the road. And the Arizona Cardinals is the 7th seed in the NFC. All right. So knowing that we have the projected standings, we have Washington's win-loss total, we can get through the stat side. And I think the stat side is kind of where we can get into the conversation about our players and the defense all together. Because I think that kind of goes hand in hand with like some of our questions for Washington. Now, I want to reiterate, I'm using this as a guide more so than this is a statement of facts for Washington. I think this helps kind of give at least some type of thing to kind of envision as we have a conversation about the projection for Washington, but also the defense. Because one of my biggest questions for Washington did come on that side of the football. So let's start with the offense, and let's start with the wide receiver spot. And this kind of gives way into what AJ wanted to talk about anyway, so I'm gonna give y'all the floor in a second. But Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel combined for 11 touchdowns, 1,852 yards, and I'm doing the math in real time. 135. Oh, yeah, my math is still good. Boy, 135 receptions. Okay, 135 receptions, 1,852 yards, 11 touchdowns combined.
That's Terry's stats alone. Oh, that's him and Deebo. Okay.
Terry and Deebo. Deebo has 58 catches, 820 yards, 4 touchdowns. Terry has 77 catches, 1,032 yards, 7 touchdowns. He actually, funny enough, doesn't even have Deebo. Oh, he does. Okay, he has 26 carries, 116 yards. Deebo Samuel does. So he doesn't have a lot of runs on the season. But that's kind of where your top 2 receivers has his projections at from Mike Clay. I'm gonna stop there. And I'm going to ask you all again. These are projections. This is early in the offseason. We haven't even gotten to preseason or training camp yet. But do you think that sounds right for both players? 1,000 yards for Terry, 1,032, and 820 yards for Deebo Samuel.
I mean, when it comes to breaking down those particular stats, I think Deebo Samuel will have a bigger statistical year from a receiving standpoint than Terry McLaurin. Of course, like, we're just focusing on the receiving aspect and not even the rushing side. But the way that Cliff Kingsbury offense is predicated is on short. It's not a downfield type of offense. Like, they're not throwing the ball 40+ yards, 10 times a game. Like, they're really dinking and dunking and hoping that the players can create on the fly. And I think that Deebo Samuel is a yak king. A lot of people may think that he dropped off some or whatever, but I think he's one of the best yak players in the NFL overall. And I think that Cliff Kingsbury is going to utilize him in getting matchups against linebackers. He's going to be all over the field. He's going to be lined up in the backfield at some point, and then motion, motion, and now he's in the slot, or he's running the wheel route or a Texas route from the running back position alongside a plan like the X and all these different things. I just think that because of his multifaceted ability and being so versatile and being familiar with that, he will have more success in the passing game than a Terry McLaurin, who traditionally right now has only been lined up on the left side, primarily most of his snaps within the Cliff Kingsbury offense. And that's just how I see it coming down to, just the ability to create after the catch. Terry isn't there in his career and being able to do that. And I just see Deebo Samuel having much more yardage and touchdown production than Terry McLaurin. I think you said the guy mentioned 800 yards. I mean, Zach Ertz had almost 800 yards as a tight end. I don't have the numbers in front of me, just off the top of my head. It might be anywhere between 650 to 800. I don't know. Diami Brown had maybe 550 receiving yards.
Nah.
Yami had like 3 something.
Hell no.
Oh, okay. I thought he had.
Yami and he sniffed it.
Okay, my bad. I must have been.
Ertz had 650.
Okay, I must have been thinking about Jahan Dotson's rookie season or something like that. I don't know why I was thinking that, but at the end of the day, when you look at it from that perspective, I just think that 800 yards for Deebo Samuel is setting the bar way too low. This ain't San Francisco. This ain't even when Deebo put up that big season, they ain't have Christian McCaffrey. Like he was not on that team. It was Elijah Mitchell and a group of other running backs alongside Kettle, Ayuk, or whatever. But now you factor in Jaden Daniels, his ability as a quarterback in the passing game and also as a threat. Like defenses have to play differently, and you don't have a bunch of guys that you necessarily have to spread the ball to. You primarily, I would say, even offensively, Deebo Samuel may be the number one target before even Terry, based on how Cliff Kingsbury wants to use the player, and Cliff has been looking for Deebo Samuel since he entered the NFL, and now the fact that he has one, I can only imagine how much he's going to go off. And Dan Quinn kind of alluded to that in his interview with I think it was with ESPN or NFL Network when they were releasing the schedule information about the game in Madrid, and he was asked directly, do we expect Deebo Samuel to be used just like how he was used in San Francisco? He was like, yeah, but differently, and like kind of chuckled. And then he also said like Cliff has been up like all day and night working on new plays or whatever. So yeah, I can only imagine how much Deebo is going to be an integral part of this offense if he can stay healthy.
I think, just going off the projections alone, Clay is kind of down on the team. Well, however he calculates his projections, but in the sense of Deebo, that's actually, if Deebo has the year that he's projecting, that's one of Deebo's better years in his career, actually, because outside of his one really big year, I want to say that was 2021, where he had like well over 1,000 yards receiving. And that was his best year. And that was his only year getting over 1,000 yards. Consistently, he's been around like 600 or something yards. I think he has like another season, maybe a season or two with like 800 yards. And that's good, productive Deebo. And if we get a season like what he's projecting out of Deebo, I'm actually considering that a success, because that's actually better than what he's been doing with the 49ers over the last couple of years. And you got to think about it. I mean, you kind of have more, you got to spread the ball out a little bit more over here. You have Terry here. You want to get the running backs involved, obviously. I mean, Zach Ertz I think he's going to be a big part of the offense. Who knows who else steps up a wide receiver. But yeah, I think we would be, at least me, I would be happy with Debo getting those numbers that he projected. Now, to AJ's point, if he goes over, if AJ's expecting even more, that's a damn good season if Debo is getting even more than what AJ expects these projections to be. On Terry's standpoint, I think he's kind of expecting a bit of a drop off from Terry, because Terry was close to 1,200 yards receiving this year. Yeah, like 12 touchdowns, I think. So
he had 1,096. Terry don't really be breaking. He don't be breaking.
He's never even broke 1,200. I don't think. I think Terry's always around 11.
He's actually right on. He's right on cue with him for real.
So the touchdown numbers he has coming down a bit, but either way, I think that's a productive season for both of those wide receivers if you're getting that type of production out of them. But yeah, Debo, I don't know. Did he project his rushing stats?
He had 26 carries, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns.
116 yards. Okay, I mean that sounds about fair, because I don't know if they plan on running
he's
Debo
tripping.
He's tripping. I mean, but they may not have used him like they did in San Francisco.
26 times in a whole season? No way, bro.
Well, shit, they acknowledged they said they was going to be using him differently than San Fran.
That's
a receiving role.
We just don't know how they're going to use Debo at this point. I mean, I don't think they're going to go carry heavy with him, like running back carry. I do think we're going to see a lot of carries. I mean, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think 26. If I had to go like over under, I would go over, but I wouldn't go like drastically over. I wouldn't see him getting more than, if I had to put a number on it, like now, I wouldn't see him getting more than 40, 45 carries. Like,
I'm sitting here thinking in my head, I'm imagining
it's a lot of carries for Debo, bro.
Yeah, especially at his age, and you also want to keep him fresh for the season. I mean, Debo's a little older. You're not going to use him as like some kind of bell cow type of, running back in a sense. I think it's fair to say he'll probably get around 3 carries a game, somewhere between 3 to 4 carries a game. So if you push that over a 17-game season, that's close to 50 carries in a season. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I think that's a realistic thing for Debo. So maybe somewhere in the 100, 200-yard range. I don't think that was that far off. Like, I just don't see them running Debo the way he ran in San Francisco. But overall, I think if you're looking at those numbers from the receiver position between Terry, as Mual mentioned, you got the 1,000-something yards. That's right around Terry's usual production. Last year, the touchdown numbers was a bit of an anomaly. So the 7 touchdowns is right around Terry's usual production. And if you're getting what you're getting out of Debo, not counting what you're getting out of anyone else, I think that's a successful season for your top 2 wide receivers.
So I decided to pull up the numbers. Since Debo entered the league, his rookie season, 14 rushing attempts, second year, 8, 2021, 59, 2022, 42, 2023, 37, and last season 42.
Yeah.
I can't see 26 carries. Of course, like, want to keep him healthy, but I think you also got to factor in, do we believe any of these running backs that are in that class, or in that room right now, are better guys with the ball in their hand than Debo?
You still
but even still, they're not going.
They're
still not going to use Debo, like, just because even if they did think that he was a better running back, they're not going to put him in the backfield like that.
But when I say that, I think I start looking back at the 2021 season. Not saying he's going to get 59 carries, but I think he's going to be around the benchmark of the 40 range of carries in a season, as far as like being able to get these jet sweeps count as carries as well. So that's just what I'm thinking. I think
we all agree though that it was over. We say over 26.
Yeah.
But that's not. I don't think it's far fetched. We're talking about like 14 more carries for 40. And AJ, I mean, the way that Dre did his math, he said about 50. But yeah, I don't see nothing like OC or even similar to like his most in San Fran. I don't see that here. But I mean, it's not like it's a big deal. We talking about 26 carries. We all think getting more than 26.
Yeah.
I don't think, bro. I've said when Debo got here, and even after I was able to watch him, I think if you get 800 plus from Debo, anything over 800, you're winning. Like, that's a good deal for Debo. I don't like. I think his usage is going to be obviously more than Terry's from a comparison standpoint. But if we're talking about effectiveness in the offense or who's going to be better, I think, bro, if either one of them, no matter who, if either one of them has a down year, that's a problem. So I think both of them better be like neck and neck in turn, if not like top level production for this offense. And for Washington, they need that. You don't know who's gonna be behind them. You don't know who's gonna step up. Somebody will. It might be Noah again if he's fully healthy. I don't know what to expect from Gallup, but I mean, for him to come in for a tryout after missing a whole year and he made the tryout, it was probably just some fluff, honestly. Like, they just saw that he can do what he did in Dallas, maybe, or something like that. All right, let's get you a shot. And obviously, you got the younger guys that's still here as well. There's going to be some people that step up. Just don't know who it is. If we want to take guesses of that in the chat, talk to me. Like, who y'all think going to be that third guy and why? But I think for Debo and Terry, first and foremost, I'm sorry, let me finish with Debo. I never really can see, I can't see like the 1,500 or 1,400 yard season that he had again. But I think the impacts that you can make when you can get splash plays out of a 800 yard receiving season, like, you never know how them yards are going to come. And you never know the plays that he makes within a given game. If we're talking about on a down by down or week by week basis, like, you never know what that looks like. Somebody can have, throwing this out there, somebody can have 300 yards in a season, but 100 of those or 150 of those yards was clutch as shit. Super clutch. Like, won you a couple games clutch. And I think that's kind of how you have to look at the present with Debo. I don't think he'll ever like go crazy as a pass catcher, but as a dual threat guy, I think is where his impact is going to be made because of what he can do for you when you get those first downs, convert the first downs with him. When you can break a game open with a out of nowhere 25-yard tough ass run that ignites the sideline and ignites the offensive guys that's on the field. Now everybody geeked up because that's what Debo does. He geeks up an offense. He geeks up the crowd. Like, I think that's kind of what I think about when I look at Debo and his projection for Washington. It's like he's an energy guy. And Terry, I think, is the explosive guy. And Terry shown that he can do that last year. And I think Terry has shown from a standpoint of trust that if Jaden found him or need him on a given play, that they can work it out on the sideline and get right back to it the next drive. And he's gonna go to Terry because he trusts him and he know he can make the play. And so I think the only thing that throws me off sometimes, and we saw it in the first couple of weeks of the season, and then various points later in the season, I just don't like the fact that he can disappear in the offense. And that's the only thing that throws me off because there's times where, I mean, bro, you finished, I forgot what game it is. I probably have to pull up the numbers. Oh, perfect. I still have his game logs pulled up. What game was it that he had one catch, bro, late in the season? Against Philadelphia, the one catch for 10 yards. And in the Atlanta game, one catch for 5 yards. And I remember the Atlanta game specifically because he was pissed off. And then the little
AJ Terrell,
YouTube,
right?
Yeah, AJ Terrell was giving him the business. But
before we started the show, for some reason, I was just watching that on YouTube. AJ Terrell had that boy locked down.
And in YouTube, John, Jaden had said to him at one point, like, stay in it. He was telling Terry to stay in it. I think he knew Terry was pissed off. And like those are the only things that's like, and it's not like a blame game that I'm insinuating here. I'm more so just saying, like, that's what he's capable of, or that's what's capable of anybody in this offense is like, especially with your number one, you can't have your number one just going ghost in a game. And you got to find a way to keep him active. And I think that's kind of like when I do look at somebody, I'm like, well, how does Cliff how can Cliff keep somebody involved, especially with your number one or your number two now with Debo? But Debo's more versatile, so like it's easy to keep him involved. But Terry, he's a true receiver. You gotta find ways to keep him around and get the ball in his hands as much as you can, especially when you need somebody to make a play. So that's the only thing I'm thinking about with Terry and his projections is like 1,000 yards makes sense, but damn, like I want the 1,300 season.
Yeah.
But I want it for him.
How much? How much did Terry move? Like, remember the big narrative when it came to Cliff's offenses was that people had an issue with when he was in Arizona, wide receivers playing on one side of the field, too long or most of the game. Did Terry play on one side a lot, or did he move Terry around a lot this year?
Oh no, that
majority is still one side. He moved around, but majority is still like they still on. It's still
the one side. Okay, yeah. So and that may help too. That's probably why you go out and get a Debo now, because now the right side, you got a weapon over there now. Because when you had Terry on the left side, you knew you just had Terry, and you got to worry about that left side. You put your best cornerback on that left side, but now you add the Debo to the right side. Maybe this gets Terry to that vaunted 1,200 yards we've been kind of waiting for in his career, because he's never eclipsed 1,200 yards, if I'm not mistaken, in his career. Like I think it's been 1,100 something, at the most, like close to 1,200. But maybe
he had 1,191 in 2022.
So maybe Debo's presence, especially him being on the right side now, you got to account for Debo now. Maybe this helps Terry get over to that top.
Let's go ahead and move on to some other positions. But after we talk about them boys at Underdog Fantasy. Hold on. Let me pull up the window. Here we go. All right. Underdog is one of the best places to make picks during playoff basketball. While they score buckets, you can score cash on Underdog. Underdog is a leading place to make all your sports picks, and you can play now in your state using one of the leading sports apps in Underdog. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks. Will you be next? Their app that I use has over 100K 5-star reviews and millions of players using the app. So all you have to do is to play is download the app, choose whether a player will go high or low on one of their stats, points, assists, rebounds, etc., and more. Playing on Underdog is a layup, so just download the app and then pick high or low on player stats. I think, obviously you can play as little as $1. So like if you're on a budget, if you gambling on or wagering on a budget, one of them put a little change up, works out. You can get up to 1,000 times your money, especially if you put down $1. So if you get your picks correct, you can win up to 1,000 times and turn $1,000 from just $1 with your hoops knowledge is pretty impressive. I've done it one time. Last season, matter of fact. It's an amazing feeling. Tonight we have the Timberwolves and OKC playing. But I'm actually going to do I'm going to do this one. We got Ant Edwards in the conference championship game in SGA. I'm going to just do SGA and Ant Edwards. I'm going to do 25.5 points. I'm going to go higher on Anthony. And then SGA, he has a 43.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And I'm going to go higher on that. I think Ant and SGA goes off. I'm going to go higher on 43.5 PRA for SGA and higher on 25.5 points for Anthony Edwards. And that's going to be it for me today. Download the Underdog app. Sign up using promo code TRAPPERDIVE to unlock a special offer up to $1,000 bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That is promo code TRAPPERDIVE. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in some games. In Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. If you're in New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. We are back to the show. All right. Where were we at? We were at receiver. We're moving on to Brian Robinson. the rushing yards. Matter of fact, let me go to Jaden Daniels first. Knock that out. Jaden Daniels, 3,700 yards, 23 touchdowns, 10 picks, sacked 38 times, but he has 129 carries, 711 yards, 6 touchdowns on the ground. So he has a total of 29 total touchdowns that he's responsible for in the season. He has over 4,000 all-purpose yards, I guess, passing, rushing. And there we go. All right, so B-Rob. I think those are modest numbers. I don't think they're like lightning or
It's a slight upgrade over last year's numbers, slight in bad interception numbers.
Yeah, so like still over a 2-to-1 interception ratio. That's healthy. I wish I could do the completion percentage in front of me, but I ain't doing that math. B-Rob, 185 carries, 776 yards, 8 touchdowns on the season. He adds 199 receiving yards to his season as well with 1 touchdown. So 9 total touchdowns on the season. But 776 rushing yards. Austin Eckler has 422. Everybody's boy, JCM, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, has 8 carries on the season for 34 yards. Anyway, Brian Robinson, 776, I think. Matter of fact, he was, you know what's crazy? I said that he was going to get 1,000. What did I say? Did I say 900 or 1,000? I know me and AJ.
My last year?
Yeah, we made the wager.
Yeah. I want to say you said maybe 900 to 1,000, somewhere between.
Okay. I know it was at least 900. And he got hurt, bro. Missed 4 games. Yeah. Really. He played one of them jumps that he couldn't finish. Missed 4 games, and he was 201 yards short, bro. He was going to crack 1,000.
He would have got it if he had played those games. Yeah.
That goes into the conversation with B-Rob. Now I have seen matter of fact, I seen somebody in the chat. Who your boy? Moneyball. He said, I got your boy. He said, I got your boy upset, crazy about how mid he is. Now he taking shots at me and the fan base. Tell your boy B-Rob, less blocking fan. Oh, Moneyball must have got blocked by B-Rob on Twitter. I seen that tweet too.
Oh, he talking about B-Rob? I thought he was talking about Linnell because Linnell's whole thing today on Twitter.
I still haven't seen what happened. I still have not seen what happened with what's going on with Linnell. I seen him. I heard him say something over the weekend, but I don't know if there's something new.
Linnell essentially said that people look at Brian Robinson like he's a G League player. I think he said if you don't believe he's like a solid player or something of that nature, then you're an idiot.
Yes, that's what I said. I think you might be talking about Linnell, because Linnell said on fire today on there.
Wait, all right, run that back. The last part you said, if you don't think what?
I guess he was like summarizing what I watched. It was like, if you don't believe that B-Rob is a solid enough running back, you're an idiot.
I mean, does anybody think he's some shit?
A lot of the fan base does, though. I do think I think AJ think he's some shit.
Y'all tripping,
I think he's some shit for RB1.
Why can't you just say I think he's a backup? But like that don't mean a backup. But
I mean, by me saying RB1 is essentially saying he's a backup running back. Like
you didn't have to raise your hand because I don't think you. I don't even think you believe
anybody.
It.
So I said. So I raised my hand.
So B-Rob is some shit, right? He ass.
He's some shit as an RB1.
No. Is he ass or is he not ass? That's the question.
He is some shit as a featured running back. But as we know, there's a lot of guys in the league that play the running back position. I mean, just look at this team in itself. They got Jeremy McNichols. Jeremy McNichols is some ass. You feel me? But, like, he'll never be a feature back. And I think the issue with this offense is that B-Rob is that feature back for the time being. I mean, they decided to come back with the same crew. They drafted the Ja'Cory guy, 7th round. What does he do? Don't really know. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know a bunch about him because I don't watch New Mexico, nor have I followed his trajectory however it's been. Like at the end of the day, that's someone that they had some thought and belief in. I think you got to reference a former 7th-round pick, Isaiah Pacheco, being able to come into the Chiefs offense and being able to make an impact, even though they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire that they drafted in the first round. Maybe Ja'Cory can do some of that, but I think when I sit back and look at the topic and mentioning B-Rob, I just look at, could he possibly be an odd man out? And when I say that, that doesn't necessarily mean like he's not going to make the roster week 1, but I think that Washington will be in the conversation of possibly adding a running back, whether that be from cuts, veteran cuts, after, the preseason games are done. But the thing about B-Rob, he don't play special teams. And everybody else that's in that running back room is going to play special teams, including the new kid. So that's where it's just like,
who would start over him week 1 that make him the odd man out?
Who would start? It could be Austin. It could be anybody. It's just a rotation of running backs committee.
I mean, that's why Eckler's going to play. So I mean, it would have to be. It wouldn't be Eckler. It would be Chris Rodriguez, Krosky, Merritt. Like those are the two like that fit his style of play. Like Austin's going to play. Like he ain't going like it's not like
he has a role, etched out role.
It would be, I think, B-Rob situation, bro. If he loses snaps, bro, it's going to be significant versus it being like a minimal amount. That boy probably see like if he loses snaps, he probably going to see like 5 a game. If that's how I see it, he probably get like 5 a game if he loses snaps.
I can see that scenario. I just don't know if I see that scenario out the gate, because the only person I think that could take his role is, as of right now, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I mean, I don't know if they like Chris Rodriguez enough to, say, hey, you are in competition for the start running back role. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I don't know if week 1 they're going to have the confidence in him to say, yeah, we're going to go out here and you're going to take B-Rob's spot off the break. Now, he has to look like Terry McLaurin did in 2019's training camp to kind of, have that kind of role. Like, whereas if I don't see Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt playing in preseason games as a 7th-round pick, then I'm gonna start thinking, oh man, maybe they're hiding that dude to start over B-Rob. So I mean, it has to be one of those situations where he looks really, really special in training camp, which is, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I just think that's a lot to expect out of a 7th-round pick, and that's the only guy right now that I can see that would kind of take his role, because when you think about Austin Eckler, he has a etched out role already. I don't think they have a role in mind for Austin Eckler that's bigger than what they use him as, which is that 3rd down back, that security blanket for Jaden Daniels. I don't think they want to elevate Austin Eckler to workhorse. Now, there is also the option of maybe they bring in somebody from the outside. Maybe there is still the possibility they go out there and get a Nick Chubb or somebody out there that's waiting. Maybe they make a trade in training camp. That can happen to where they say, yeah, you're going to replace B-Rob. But what they have on the roster right now, I don't know if there's anybody on the roster right now that unseats B-Rob week 1.
No, that's just my bold prediction. I think we normally do those kind of like closer to training camp, like who's not going to make the 53. But I think that there might be some movement there. That could be swapping with another team, like maybe him for another running back. Like, I don't know, but I just don't see B-Rob as RB1 going forward. Like, I don't think you can tout that out there. Like, nah, I'm not doing that, bro.
Well, you're gonna be mad
because I think
when that season stopped, bro.
I think we seen towards the end of the season he was losing confidence, and I could see some frustration from the coaches in regards to him and how he was running. Like, I don't know what was going on there. I'm not gonna speak on his social media stuff because I have no clue, nor do I care. But I want to say maybe even 2 weeks ago I was on Twitter, and I think I seen Kevin Sheehan like say something about Alvin Kamara. I don't know where he got that from.
Yeah, I didn't hear.
I didn't know where that came from, but I was just like, where did that come from? But yeah, I don't know if maybe he heard that there's some rumors, whatever the case is. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Because I thought it was very interesting. They didn't bring in any new face into that room besides now the 7th round pick. So it's like, what's truly the plan here?
Oh, they ain't getting Alvin. I saw the bullshit. I forgot who put it out there. I ain't want to call him because he cool. He a cool dude. But somebody from ESPN said, what's the dude from the Chargers last year? J.K. Dobbins. That was different from Nick Chubb. I'm like, bro, like they might be waiting on somebody. They may want to get his. They may be giving preseason and training camp a shot before they like make some moves because you never know who gets cut too. Like when that waiver wire or whatever hits at the end of training camp. At the end of preseason, after everybody makes their roster cuts, they may find somebody else that they feel like is going to be in that position for Washington to really, help these guys out, just like Noah Brown did last year. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. Where we at? Checking in with the chat. DC Pups Kennel, what's up, player? Big Simp, I see you in the chat as well. Justino, what's up? What's up, Billy? What's up? Moneyball, we said what's up to you. RVA, Benz, my man is on cocaine, 8.7, and we make the playoffs. Yeah, I don't know how that win thing. I think this, bro, honestly, this might be fantasy, like the fantasy stuff.
I think he just did some computer calculations.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Buddy need to step away from the computer, bro. You can't win 8.7 games. It's like
that's just 9 games. Just say 9 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm so confused. Bro. Like you ain't gotta do all that, bro. All right, let's get to defense. We don't have to go through statistics for Washington in terms of individual players, but I do think it is important to note. He said we had the worst defense in the NFL in points allowed. 31st overall ranking is what I'm looking at here. But again, points allowed, the worst. I don't know how they make the playoffs with the worst defense.
Yeah.
And to add to this, put a more real conversation into this projection that he has, I think it's completely fair for anyone to go into this season asking if they did enough to get better or did they do enough to just survive another season, like refill some potential spots just to survive another season on that side of the football. I get a floor, y'all. I don't know what y'all thinking, but I think those are kind of real questions to ask. I don't think there should be anybody who should be. If there's somebody out there that's super excited about this defense, I would love to meet them.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that can really get you excited about this defense is that Joe Witt Jr. is the defensive play caller, and he has shown the ability to pivot and make adjustments alongside working with Dan Quinn. That's the only thing you can necessarily get excited about. But until you see this collection of guys work as a unit, really don't have that much of like high hopes. But I don't think they'll be dead last. I think they're just banking on the front four rushing together as a unit. I mean, there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of bodies, and they're just hoping that they can stop run first and then maybe get to the quarterback later. But yeah, that's the only thing you can really like hang your hat on. I mean, you know what you're getting in Bobby Wagner. You know how they're going to utilize Frankie Louvu. You don't necessarily know what you're getting in Marshawn Lattimore. You're hoping for the best with that. You don't know what's coming out of the other safety position opposite of Quan Martin. You don't know what's happened at the other cornerback position because Mikey seems to be he's going to be pushed back inside at nickel. So you don't know if Trey Amos is going to live up to the billing of being able to start week 1 at that outside cornerback position and hold it down the remainder of the season. And yeah, you don't know who you got getting to the quarterback. So it's kind of like it's iffy, but at the end of the day, it's not impossible for them to be a good defense. It's just more so is that front four, whatever rotation they decide to go with, are they going to play as a collective and truly be productive in the run game and the passing game as far as getting after the quarterback? But you shouldn't necessarily have too much excitement about that side of the ball at the moment.
I mean, his projections, I'm just trying to figure out. I feel like he did use a computer because he's trying to project how they're going to be against the schedule. I think he's also factoring the schedule into his equation as well. But even with that said, this defense last year, we didn't think it was a good defense last year. The first 3 weeks of the season last year, they were historically bad, like compared to, previous NFL years. And that team only gave up 391 yards last season, whereas he's projected them that you said 437 points this year.
Yeah.
437 points, and we gave up 391 points last year. So he's kind of projecting this defense to be significantly worse. I mean, not only that, he's also predicting the offense to come down as well because the offense scored almost 500 points last year, and he only got the offense scoring 443 this year. So he's kind of projecting a down year all around. And I don't think that's fair for the defense. Now, we do have questions about the defense. I mean, as we've been talking about with the edge rusher, like how did they get better there? But we've also talked about the areas they did get better at this year. Like we do think the secondary has improved. I mean, as far as the cornerback room compared to last year, much improved. You still have your linebackers of Frankie Louisville and Bobby Wagner. They're going to be solid. You know what they can do. You know what they're going to provide. The biggest question mark right now that we have right now is who's going to be that edge rusher? Like who's going to step up and be the man? Like, are they going to be able to get home? I mean, and outside of that, obviously, which to me isn't a bigger concern than how are they going to stop the run this year? Because that was the biggest nemesis for the defense last year was stopping the run. Now, they signed guys that I think probably should help them in that area. And when you think about a Javon Kinlaw, the Eddie Goldman, you expect the Johnny Newton to kind of, come on this year. So maybe they did get better, but this is all question marks, but not question marks to the point where I think this team gets significantly worse on defense because if they're giving up the most amount of points, it's most likely the worst defense in the league. And then what you're projecting on offense, you're not projecting a lot of shootouts. I mean, you're projecting the offense to go down to scoring, and you're projecting the defense to give up more scoring. So to me, I just don't think that's fair based off what I think we've done this season. I mean, do I think we went out there and, established a top 10 defense? No. But do I think we went out there and I'm so upset and angry that I think we're going to be a bottom 3 defense? No. I think it's probably somewhere closer to the middle of the pack where this defense probably lays right now. And yeah, so I don't agree with that ranking system.
What's best case, worst case for this defense? Like
best case, I mean, realistically from what you have right now, I think a best case scenario, you're talking about a top 13 to 14 defense. I think worst case, you're probably looking at maybe somewhere in this, I'm going to factor in schedule as well, probably somewhere 24, 25. You don't want to be there because to me, that means you didn't get better on defense because I think that's somewhere where you ranked last year. The sweet spot, I think, for this defense is somewhere around top 17, top 18 with this offense. That's a playoff team, and that's a team that can win games in the playoffs for what you have. But you don't want to be around that 25 mark. I think that's worst case scenario, and I think that's a possibility based off the questions that we have. But I do think it's closer towards the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could be a top 32 defense.
Yeah, they will have to be.
No, let me stop. But honestly, if they really can join together and stop the run, I think that and continue to flip the field like how they were doing in their playoff run, just creating more turnovers, I think it could be a top 15 defense. I really trust Joe Witt Jr.'s acumen. I trust the way that he knows how to get the best out of certain guys. I think that, you know, Jonathan Allen not being in the picture and Johnny Newton being healthy along with Kinlaw, the Eddie Goldmans, and so on can help to influence how they go about playing the run a bit better. Um, I still have my questions and doubts with getting home to the quarterback, but if they can truly get this run game stopped, and I think that's what they wanted to focus on primarily is stopping this run. I think that it could change a lot for this defense and being able to get them off the field quicker than they were able to last season. Because I mean, everything that they did in the free agency period has been to beef up that front four and create a more rotation of guys with the addition of Wise, Goldman, Kinlaw, bringing back Clelin Ferrell, Jacob Martin, Wise, and so on. That just says that they want to stop the run first and foremost.
Joe Witt got a lot to prove, AJ. I mean, I'm not as optimistic as you are about him, to be honest with you.
I think that's a conversation.
Joe Witt Jr. I mean,
but we may need to.
Yeah, I mean, not today, but
I think
just personally, we need to say that
maybe
later.
we can have that conversation next week.
Yeah, we could talk. Yeah. We talk about that next week. Yeah, that's a good one. I really, because I honestly, I genuinely forgot. Like I like what Joe Witt has done, especially like because I was able to see like the real time adjustments in the season, especially with the secondary and the breakdowns. I just didn't think we had the horses. But I'm not naive to the fact that there is moments like your run defense was terrible. He tried to make adjustments. At times it worked. Again, player based. You didn't have some of the horses on your front seven. And then at the same time, like there's moments where like you just getting gashed, and it didn't matter what adjustments you made, right? And I think for fans throughout the season, I completely forgot that there, like people really had it out for Joe Witt, despite it being his first season with some players that he just really had. Like you had to work with some of the guys you had. So I do think this is a fair question. We're going to spend the block and focus on that next week. I'll close mine out because we got to get ready for the next show. I think best case for Washington's defense is actually what they ranked last year. Let me make sure I had this right. If my memory serves me correct. Last year they ranked 13th in yards.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they had a good stretch where they was doing a good job. And it was partly in fact due to the offense, but also like they really did get off the field. They was one of the, let me see, they was middle of the pack in third downs, but they created some turnovers. I lied. It wasn't turnovers. I forgot what the hell they did. They was decent though. Anyway, point being 13th is I think like that 13th, 15th is like their best case. Worst case, I can see them being like bottom third, but not like 28th, 29th. Like a worst case, see them like 23rd, 24th, something like that. And my main thing when I think about the defense is like that front seven. I said it 1,000 times already. I see the vision. I know what they're trying to do. The question is, will it work? You got new pieces all across the board, and like those are people that you would expect to really step up and elevate or enhance Joe Witt's scheme and Joe Witt's front, like that whole defensive front in the scheme that they want to play in. Like you're hoping that these guys are more disciplined than the guys that you had last year. And you hope that interior is more stout than what you had last year, right? The goal is to move people around. Like your wild card is Kinlaw, right? Can he be a game worker up front? That's what they hope. You got a specialist that and Jacob Martin that knows how to rush the passer. Can you use him properly? Like Your boy Dante Fowler was on the field way too much last year. But can Jake Martin get on the field when they want him to in terms of like his role, and can he flourish in the role that they ask him to flourish in? Can you get paid off of this year? Like, you got a great window in front of you, bro. And I think like certain people like that, the role players that they're banking on. I mean, obviously Dietrich Wise, I think he's going to be a person that you can trust. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, he's going to play some good amount of time. But like the people that you're asking to be specialists in their role or like elevate their game to be a playmaker for your defense in Kembo, you just hope that they're able to do it. If that front seven can take care of his own, I think you're looking at a promising defense in terms of consistency versus like the back half of the or bottom third defense where it's just so much disarray up there that you really don't know how to get a hold of things as the season moves along. B-Rod got the picture. All we want to see him to run hard. What's up, T-Rose? All right. That's going to do it for us. Appreciate everybody watching live. Appreciate everybody who's tapped into the audio side. We appreciate that as well. The fellas will be back next week. Same time, 7 o'clock. And All 32 is back on tomorrow, 7 p.m. So y'all take it easy. Be safe, man. Who y'all want to win quick in the conference finals?
I got Minnesota, man. I'm a Anthony Edwards fan, so I hope that the Minnesota Timberwolves pull it off.
Minnesota, boy, you still drunk.
Minnesota?
Nah, you said it sounded like you said Minnesota. You about to say Minnesota?
Nah, I said Minnesota, boy. And boy, stop.
Yeah, I got Minnesota. I want Minnesota and the Knicks to make it out.
I'm going OKC and Indiana, man. Those are my two.
OKC and Indiana. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. We start the night in 30 minutes, 25 some minutes. So we'll see. Y'all take it easy. Everybody be safe. All that good stuff. We out of here. Peace.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Damn, set. Watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.